Okay, it is 7 o'clock. Let's go ahead and call this meeting to order. Mr. Secretary, would you take attendance, please?
Yeah. Chair here. Treasurer. And Mr. Kaczynski. Cool. Affiliates.
Is Gavin here? Gavin here.
Cool. I just heard the vice chair, and Mr. Kaczynski. I am here. Affiliates. We have Mr. Fury. Campaigns.
Here.
Communications.
Here.
Fundraising.
Here.
Legislative. I'm gonna make this Carly die. Good. Membership.
Here.
Outreach. I think we may have just got outreach.
Give me just a moment to go through those areas.
We got to bring out what? Yep, services.
Okay, so we're going to see outreach, legislative,
Affiliates.
treasurer. Who just joined us? Well, we do have forms, so we'll go ahead and get started. We have a couple minutes for public comment. If anybody would like to speak, would you please introduce yourself first?
We have a microphone as well, Wayne, to pass around.
Yes, I'd like to speak. Would you like me to come over for the mic? No, my arms are Good evening. I'm Frank Atwood. I'm your liaison to Center Right Coalition that meets here on second Mondays also, but at 9 o'clock in the morning. What's said there stays there, so I'll try to give it the literature that is spread out is public. And so one item is this Saturday, the 14th, out at on Colfax between Wadsworth and Kipling will be a Tabor appreciation party. Looks like fun, somewhere around $9 per person. There's also unhappy Republicans that briefly sum it up as why should I be writing 6-digit checks for 2-digit failures? So we'll leave it at that. Any questions from the other occupants of the room, the previous occupants? Thank you. Yes, sir.
Where will that be located?
I've got a flyer. On the contrary, Wayne's given me flyers to distribute. I'll distribute flyers, and details are there. Looks like a good crowd. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Atwood.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else from the public would like to comment or have a question or have something to say? Charles?
Do I need to grab the mic?
Well,
Okay, my word. Actually, it's just a,
What's the law?
it's Carrie Ann Harlow, just to briefly invite anyone who's on the stream or the board to come to the bylaws committee meetings. We haven't really had any party members there, but we do welcome you. The link is on the LPCO website, and there's always opportunities for public comment, and our next meeting is tomorrow. There's multiple other members of the bylaws committee here as well, so I'm sure they join me in asking members to come and be informed about what we're proposing.
Anybody else? Okay, we're going to move on to the approval of the agenda. I'm sure you've all taken an opportunity to read this. Is there anything you want to add at this point? Mr. Atkins?
Yes, I believe I put in a request to the secretary to add an item to allocate $1,000 to send postcards to new registered libertarians over the next 6 months.
So, well, he can't make a motion. I do want to make the motion for him.
John, yeah, I move to.
No, just put it on, we'll just put it on conversation. We'll do the motion later.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you want to add to the agenda is you want to discuss $1,000 for a postcard event.
Yeah, postcards to new registered libertarians over the next 6 months.
Okay, we'll give you a chance to speak to that in your business. Okay.
Wayne, as a reminder, y'all's mic is muted at the moment, but if you tap the bottom, you can make it hot. So that
Do I
you guys
need to, or can I be heard all right? Can everybody hear me all right?
on the stream is a little quiet. There's a button on the bottom.
How about now? Yeah, that's what we're, okay. All right, has everybody read the previous minutes from last month's meeting?
Hi.
Excuse me?
Does our agenda for tonight still say 2022?
Oops,
Bring that up.
thank you. I didn't catch you.
No, that's fine. Also, if we could, I'd like to add something for Nick, who is unfortunately sick, which is why he's not here, to discuss later and make a motion to allocate gas reimbursement for people that come down and speak at the Legislative Assembly.
At the legislative assembly. Okay. Anything else anybody would like to add to the agenda at this point?
Yeah, I wanted to see if I can add $350 to cover the Tabor celebration expenses.
Didn't we already vote on that last month, Eli?
Last month, I had an increase from $200 to $300 to cover expenses, but the Tabor celebration itself is $350.
350, so we need an additional 150.
Just an additional $50.
Okay. You can either add it here, we can add it under the new business, or you can give your board report and then add it at the end of your board report. Which would you prefer?
Which one's easier?
The same.
New business is easier.
All right. We got it under.
I'll add it here. Yeah.
Okay. Any other additions? Okay. The previous minutes were put out by Mr. Bukovich. Were there any changes that need to be added? Hearing none, we'll go to the reports. Do we have anybody here from Arapahoe? Boulder? Denver?
The Libertarian Party of Denver's got our next meeting this Wednesday. It's going to be from 7 to 9 at the Atomic Cowboy on Broadway.
What time?
7 to 9.
7. All right, I'll speak for Douglas. We had a very, very good meeting at the Douglas County meeting last week. We were very lucky to have George Teal, the Douglas County Commissioner, show up and speak. And we had a couple of Republicans showed up, and they both said that that was the most engaged event that they've ever been to. They were just blown away by the, number one, the knowledge of the people that were there, and the questions that were asked. So that was a very productive thing, and I thank everybody for coming. Who's here to speak for El Paso?
John Jersman, El Paso County.
Please speak up, John, so you can be heard.
El Paso County.
You have to push the button.
Oh, El Paso County is having its annual convention on the 14th, this coming Saturday. It's going to be at Library East on Union, I believe, on North Union, from 10 to, I believe, 4. Everybody is welcome.
10 to 4, you said, John?
I believe so, if I remember right.
Anybody from Jefferson? Mr.
We're going
Dawson?
to resume our meetings. We didn't have a December meeting, and that meeting will be on the 26th of this month.
Okay. Anybody here from Mesa? Bubba? Claire? Aaron, you want to give us an update on what's happening in Larimer, or are you up to speed on it?
Nothing is currently happening in Larimer.
Okay. We have reports from the LLC representatives. LLC Secretary, Ms. Harlows.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize this was coming up so quickly. Okay. We're having our next LNC meeting in March in New Mexico, which is close in case anyone wants to come, to help support our affiliate down there. We passed our budget, and last night we had, as you all may know, we had an interim executive director, Lainey Houston, who we kind of had on loan. She's become so inspired and enjoyed it so much that she accepted last night, and we extended a contract to make her a permanent executive director. Andy Bukovic is now on staff as well. So, you know, some people might have been concerned, you know, sometimes with new leadership, there is a turnover in staff. And all of those positions are getting filled. I believe we're bringing on a new fundraising, I think they call it development director, but it's a fundraising person. So things are going very well. I don't know the exact number of years, but it was like the second highest for the 4-year cycles that we're in as a political party for fundraising. Sometimes you wouldn't know that by looking on social media, but we had a very successful year, and we have a very healthy budget for next year. And it's been like a super calm LNC, so there's hardly anything to report in that, and that's a very happy thing. So if anyone has any questions, I'll take them.
Any questions for Ms. Harlows? All right, is Miguel with us tonight? John, is he one of our participants?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Has he been sent the link though?
It should be the same one, so he'll have it, but he hasn't been
Okay.
sent it explicitly.
Okay.
But what I'll do is just go ahead and add it to the
Yeah.
calendar invite.
Because with all the states, you know, he's dealing with, he, you know, might not remember. I know he's expecting a baby this month, so, not him personally, well, you know, his wife. He's not pregnant, but his wife is.
For the board reports, I don't really have anything to add other than to reiterate what I said last month. in the lapsed membership calls I've made, I've had no pushback against any of the social media issues that have been raised by 2 or 3 members in the state here. So I'm not experiencing that. I'm not getting that from the public. Vice Chair, Ms. Goodman.
I have nothing further to add.
Treasurer.
Nothing further to add.
All right, I have a couple questions for you, Gavin. I want to thank, number one, I want to thank you for putting together the chart of fundraising. And in spite of what's being said in the social media here in Colorado, our fundraising has been up significantly. 21% over 20,000, I'm sorry, 14% over 2020, and 37% over 2021. So fundraising has been doing very, very well. And that's given us a lot of flexibility to do the things that we need to do as a party. So thank you for the report, Gavin.
You're welcome. I would add one thing to that. It's not coming in large chunks either. These are, I can tell you, the volume of transactions we're getting is significant. That actually might be another chart to look at, but we're still getting lots of $3 and $5 and $10 donations. So it's not like we've suddenly stumbled across some rich benefactor. It's just a much higher volume than what we've had in recent history.
Fantastic. Thank you, Gavin.
We'd love a rich benefactor.
Mr. Bukovich.
Nothing to add.
Do we have any upcoming deadlines that we need to be cognizant of right now?
Yes, actually, that is a good call. Let me read those.
I do that.
Yes, I should start doing that. They're in the report, so I think nothing further to add, but I should read them. So, by our February meeting, we will have the last day for the call to convention. So we are going to have to, everything we have to do to comply with our bylaws for notification. This includes an article in the Denver Post. So we'll actually probably need to move to add money for that. I can do so. Ms. Harless, do you know how much we usually pay for?
Well, we talked that there's some additional requirements under our corporation. If I remember correctly, though, I could be wrong, for the 1-day ad, it was $70 or thereabouts. But as I said to you, we need to publish 5 times, so I would anticipate $350 to $400 for this. If the bylaws changes that the committee's put into place get passed, we won't have to do that next time. It'll just be the $70 again. There's some nonprofit corporation law that requires us to publish 5 times. Andy, if you don't mind me asking, when is the email call to convention and the posting on the website due? That would be just in general for convention.
That is due February 15th.
Okay. I would suggest doing the Denver Post ad at the same time just to get it.
Yep.
You're taking control of it?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I move to set aside $400 to pay for a Denver Post ad?
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I would like to add one thing, Mr. Chair.
Without objection, Ms. Harless?
That is a huge chunk of money, I agree, we kind of have to do it. However, I think David can attest too, there's always people who show up from that classified ad. I don't know if more libertarians are sitting reading the classifieds looking for things to do, but people do actually come from the ad, which is just crazy to me. I mean, it's cool that people we haven't seen, but it does bring people in that probably throw us a little money, you know, so it probably ends up paying for itself.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Any objection? Okay, the motion carries to set aside $400 for the Denver Post-Gazette for convention notification.
Okay, so that is the February 15th. That is that one. We just had our deadline to qualify as a state delegate on the 1st. Bylaws and platform committee need to submit their reports by February 18th. The last day for candidates for public office to submit applications is February 15th. And that is it. My next board meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Bukovich. Ms. Harlow, you had your hand up again?
Yeah, there's one other deadline that it just might be a little bit further out than Mr. Vukovic is looking. There is also the last day for member submissions to the platform and bylaws. I think that's a month out, a month
It's
before.
March. That's March 2nd.
Okay, yeah. And the platform committee and the bylaws committee, I know, are aware of that February 18th deadline, and we will have our reports in.
Okay. Mr. Fury, I didn't see a written report from you this month, a verbal report.
Yeah. Sorry, I actually did not submit a written report this month. I just did not have any time or energy really to put into LPCO stuff this month. All I really did was the bylaws committee, attended 3 meetings. I know I've got a few things I'm really behind on with that. Need to reach out to all the affiliates this week, get the information to.
Are you going to call them, or are you going to send me the names and numbers and I'll call them?
Yeah, I should be able to do that this week, I think.
Okay, good. So if you're ready to do a time crunch, just send me the names and numbers and tell me which ones you've reached and which ones you haven't, and I'll make the calls to.
Yep. And then I'll get that information to you, Aaron.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Luria, campaigns.
The only thing that I have to add is starting by the end of next month, February, I'm going to do my first candidate training for people. By the end of the week, I'll have a date and a place for that. I just reached out to the Independence Institute to see if I can do it there. This is the first of hopefully many I'll be doing, and I'd like to do some of them at actually affiliate meetings. That will kind of just depend on how much interest there is.
Thank you, Mr. Luria.
And can I ask one quick question? I'm so sorry. This is of the secretary. Andy, the deadline that you have about applying for office, is that in our bylaws?
Yes.
Okay.
This is a deadline that's passed, but we do have to send out notice for candidates to apply to be.
Okay, I'll do that only because in terms of this year being all nonpartisan races, we don't have to nominate anybody at our convention, and so I didn't necessarily assume that deadline really mattered for this year.
Yeah,
specifically this year.
We're good.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure. Thanks.
Okay, communications, Mr. Marinovich.
Nothing more to add.
Fundraising, Ms. King.
Nothing further to add, but thanks to everybody that came out to the Festivus party. It was really fun, actually. It was a really good party.
It was a good fundraising event. Very well done. And Lance will not be here tonight.
No, I think he's not here tonight.
But you did.
Justin Savoy is here to proxy
Yeah.
for Nick Lance. Yeah.
He had asked me to sit in for him.
Oh, okay. You want to give his report?
Nothing further to add.
Okay. And this is Justin to sit in for Lance?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Mr. Piar.
Nothing to add.
Okay, Mr. Pierre, I still haven't made that phone call to you. I was gonna do it this weekend and it slipped my mind, so I'll reach out to you one day this week.
Let's do it.
All right, outreach, Mr. Gonzalez.
Nothing further to add.
Guys, if any of you have any questions of any of the other directors, now would be the time to raise those questions. I trust that everybody has been taking the time to read all the board reports before the meeting. Staff reports, Mr. Atkin.
Nothing to add.
Mr. Riddle, are we up to speed on everything that we need?
I believe so.
Okay, looking forward to seeing how these microphones you put up work out. All right, we go to committee reports here. Mr. Lurie, at this point, you're still chairing the merchandising committee?
Yes, I am. That has sort of been on hold for this past week, where the only thing really I've done is I've tried to help John and Beatrice, and Beatrice was a much bigger help than I was in helping with the audit committee. And I think only one thing got sold since we started that. So I really haven't been pushing it or anything, just because I didn't want to screw anything up with the audit by doing that. So. And I am looking for someone else to chair this committee. Hannah has been helping me trying to find someone. We just haven't had any bites yet.
Thank you, Mr. Lurie. All right, we have somebody from the bylaws committee that would like to speak.
Yes. I don't want to, if that's okay. I'm not feeling well this up and down.
Speak up.
We're going to be submitting our report on February 18th. I already talked about the meetings. There's really nothing, if there's any question the board has about any significant changes or anything like that, but I do just encourage people to come. We've been working really hard.
Okay.
You're not dissolving the party?
I know, I figured you guys would do that, like in some secret vote. Isn't that the way it works?
I think we need the I don't think we can do it. I think we have to do the bylaws.
All right. Hello, are you speaking for the platform committee tonight?
Yeah, I have nothing, I guess, to add for the platform committee, unless anyone has any questions about the platform committee.
You guys have met how many times, Eli?
We've met a total of 3 times. Actually, yeah, we've met a total of, 2 times. We met a total of 2 times. This next week on Friday will be the 3rd time that we're meeting. And yeah, things are going pretty good, I think, in my opinion. So.
Okay. Thank you. Convention committee. Give us an update.
We should have ticket pricing out mid-month. We've been meeting pretty much every Tuesday. We're still reaching out to find a replacement for our keynote speaker. We have not sorted that out yet, but we should still stay within the budget regardless of what I allocated for all the speakers. I think that's about it.
Audit committee.
Sir.
We have the 3 members of the audit committee here.
May I ask a question?
Go ahead, Mr. Evans.
What date is convention?
April 1st and 2nd.
April 1st and 2nd.
April 1st and 2nd.
And could you see me after the meeting with regards to sponsorship?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Edwards.
Thank
All
you.
right, we have all 3 of the folks from the audit committee right now, and I believe Mr. Hirschman is going to give us an update on the status of that. Mr. Hirschman, if you would take the microphone so everybody can hear
you. An in-house preliminary report's been distributed to the board. The straightforward data collection is pretty much done. We're ready to work with the treasurer on items that are more obscure at this point. There are some members that pointed out the lack of convention contributions and tickets when they look at Tracer, and the data actually confirms this. But there's been no evidence to this point of any malfeasance. It's just some missing Tracer entries. Any questions?
When do you anticipate you'll be able to wrap this up, John?
Well, by the next board meeting, we should get done.
You have until the next board meeting. I'm just wondering if you think you get it ahead of it.
Oh, I don't know. You guys have it?
There was a suggestion in your report recommending, because of the increased effort, because of the greater contributions that we're receiving right now, that you thought it would be in our interest to find a assistant treasurer. Is that correct? Is that what I understand your position is?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
May I add to that?
Go ahead.
One of the reasons is that we have to maintain a federal banking account for anything that's related to federal election. And one of the best practices recommended by the feds is that an assistant treasurer be created so that there's someone to immediately step up if something happens to the treasurer. And the main reason for that is that we cannot accept any donations that could be used for anything federally related if there isn't a standing active treasurer. So there's a legal reason as well as a much more practical reason. It's just a big job, and it would be nice to have some help.
That objection, we'll hear from Ms. Harlows.
I never even thought of that before. Nationally, we have in our bylaws required to have assistant treasurer. So if the bylaws committee people remind me, let's consider that on bylaws, to put it into the bylaws that we need an assistant treasurer. And just so that everyone else knows, we haven't heard the proposal yet, but I drafted a proposal for a standing audit committee into the bylaws. That is, I think, best practices. We're one of the larger affiliates in the country. So the bylaw, it's in the drive. You guys probably haven't seen it yet, but hopefully that'll be something that will pass out of the bylaws committee and then go to the convention floor, because I do think we need a standing audit committee.
Mr. Woodridge?
Is that something that we can get rectified relatively easily? The stuff that's missing from Tracer?
You're talking about the things we've found so far?
Yeah.
Yes, it's just busy work.
Awesome. Well, not awesome, but.
I neglected one thing, Mr. Chair.
Without objection, Ms. Harlows?
I wanted to thank the 3 members. Yes. Because this was a very, very important job you guys were doing.
On that end,
May I add one final thing?
Go ahead,
just because it shocked me. We do have some risk in that if none of the late fees are waived, we will be responsible for a late fee payment of $20,150. Just to be aware of that. Now, some of that could very well be waived.
Thank you, Mr. Dodson. On that end, I would like to move that we put out a call for an assistant treasurer right now. See if we can get some people throw their hat in the ring. There's no reason why we can't appoint somebody to help Gavin now, within a month. But Andy, would you put out a call for an assistant treasurer, please?
I will delegate that.
Okay. Do it however you would. Okay. Next item we have here is let's talk about, Mr. Acton, Tell us about what your idea is on the postcards and the expenses that you're anticipating.
Yes, I would like to reach out to newly registered libertarians who come to us through the Secretary of State's website by registering to vote, or their county clerks. Excuse me. Yes, I would like to reach out to new registered libertarians who come to us through the Secretary of State's website or the county clerk's website. Most of these people do not come to us through our website. They simply go and register to vote. So we have no idea who these people are until we get the voter registration. I'd like to send these people a postcard and tell them we're here, and hopefully some of them will choose to sign up on our website, maybe donate some money or something like that. I think there are probably a couple hundred people every month in the months December through June, and postcards are about 50 to 60 cents a piece, and so I'd like to allocate $1,000 to do that.
How many months will that last, just in your anticipation?
I think $1,000 should cover about 6 months.
Okay. David cannot make a motion, so I will make the motion. I move to set aside $1,000 for the postcard campaign carried out by Mr. Atkin to reach out to new libertarians. Do we have a second on that?
Second.
Second.
Do you have any discussion?
Sounds like a really good use of money.
Okay.
It should be very
Do
unique.
you have something to say back there?
Yeah, whatever's mailed should be very unique and not look like anything else. Otherwise, it just goes in the trash.
Fully agreed. I do have a contact for a graphic designer who has helped us with a bunch of stuff this year, handouts and all that kind of stuff. So if you want his contact information, Dave, let me know.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have any objection? So the motion has passed, and we will set aside $1,000 to fund the effort that Mr. Atkin is putting forth. Thank you, Mr. Atkin. I can't read my own writing. Discuss gas.
Oh, so that, Nick wanted to bring that up tonight, our legislative director. He has a plan to try to get people to come down, volunteers to come and speak at the Legislative Assembly, either for or against. You know, there's all kinds of crap legislation going through this year. And so he wants to, for people that are not close by, he wants to be able to reimburse them gas money. He'd like to set aside $200 for that, and then we'll kind of see how many volunteers we get to do that.
Okay, so we have, are you making a motion?
I can make a motion.
Go ahead.
I move to allocate $200 to the legislative director to reimburse volunteers who come speak at the Legislative Assembly.
Okay. We have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? Any objections? Okay. The motion passes that we will allocate $200 to reimburse fuel costs for people that are coming down to speak at the legislative session. Between what we anticipate and what it is now.
Sure. So I'm asking for an additional $50 to go towards a gold, what do they call it? A gold level sponsorship for the Tabor celebration that's happening this Saturday, the 14th. That will sponsor 6 people to be at the Tabor booth, and they're anticipating around 150 to 200 people. As a gold sponsor, we're going to be put on the large banner with our large Libertarian Party logo, the LPO Colorado logo, as well as give us a booth and just an opportunity to talk to anyone who goes to the Tabor celebration. The additional $50 is just to cover for that gold sponsorship. There were 2 sponsorship levels. I think there's like a $125 one, which they call a silver sponsorship. You get more bang for your buck with the $350, and I think it's a good opportunity to reach more liberty-minded people. Hopefully, we can convince them to come to the Libertarian Party.
So you need another $50, is all you're asking for, to a total of $350.
Correct.
We have a motion on the table to allocate an additional $50 toward the Tabor celebration booth. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any objections? Okay, you got it, Eli?
Thank you all.
All right, we have no special orders. No unfinished business. We have another opportunity for the public comment. If anybody would like to speak, go ahead and raise your hand. Seeing none, we have finished our business and we are adjourned.